Hello and welcome to the Bluff Creek Project Podcast. I'm Tate Hieronymus, I'm your host, and today I am joined with Jeremiah Byron. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Nice work. Everyone messes up the last name, so good job, man.
And you host the Bigfoot Society Podcast.
That's true.
I'm correct in saying that, I guess.
You are, yep.
I guess good.
Yes, and so as you were saying before, this time the tables have turned, and I am on your podcast, so go ahead.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I got to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You're better sounding right now than I am. The quality easily. I'm just putting that out there.
I mean, I do have this, well, you don't have video, but I do have an amazing microphone, so.
I got an amazing can.
Oh, what do you, Are you speaking into a tin can?
If I put the can close, it can reverberate the sound.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just messing, experimenting here. There's a fan
All right.
blowing on me. It kind of gives me that weird reverb, I guess.
That's legit.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. So, okay. Along the topic of podcasting, since we're doing this as a podcast, what got you started into doing that?
Well, I think it's, if I try to think back on how things got started, it was, I had a few podcasts that I would listen to, and no one in particular, but I always thought, I always would come up with these questions. I'd be like, oh, I wish they were asking these questions instead of the ones that they're asking. So I'm like, hey, there's no one that has to give you the okay to start one of these. So I figured, hey, I'll go for it. I started using the Anchor app, which is not the. Are you sponsored by Anchor?
No, I'm laughing because I think you're the same thing.
Because it's not the best experience. I mean, it's okay for some situations, but and then when COVID came on, I was like, maybe I should take this a little more serious. So we got a microphone and actually got a host, Buzzsprout, and made things a little bit more serious. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. People that have been willing to come on, because they're just pretty much hanging out, at least for a while. They were just hanging out and not doing a lot because of the quarantines and stuff. So it's a good time to start a podcast, right?
Everybody's just at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, what better time could you ask somebody to talk?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So it's super easy. I think it's more easier to do a podcast with COVID than it was before, because everybody's out doing stuff. Now everybody's in not doing stuff.
Exactly.
Which I like that aspect. That's pretty cool. And it helps people who want to do podcasting to do it easier.
Mm-hmm.
But, what is your process for picking a guest? What?
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah. What drives you to I want to talk to that person or this person?
So there are, I'm up to almost episode 40 now, and I found that there's two different types of episodes that I have. One episode is usually someone who's kind of a little more well-known in the community. Like you have your Seth Breedlove or Mark Madsky, and they have something coming out, so I really want to share that, or someone who's a researcher, things like that. But then there's also another type of episode where it's someone who's kind of new or not as well known on the scene, or literally I will peruse through the Bigfoot. I have a few hashtags I follow on Instagram, and I'll just peruse through the hashtag. And if there's something where it's that's an interesting post, I won't even think about it. I will send them a message right then. I'll be like, hey, let's, do you mind getting on my podcast and talking about this? I had Todd from Detroit Paranormal Expeditions on last week, and that one was fun because it was like a paranormal team just going out and squatching. So that was like a really interesting. It gets into some really interesting chats if you just go for stuff like that. And also, I like giving people a voice that might not have the voice, you know.
No, yeah, I totally get that. They want to.
Yep.
People want to talk about their experiences, but they just don't have a connection to.
Exactly.
And you kind of just like, I'll help you out, and let you tell a bigger audience.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool.
It's been fun.
I never thought about like going on Instagram and looking through things and asking people like that.
You should.
That's like a good idea. I mean,
well, you do that with Twitter. It sounds like you've. It sounds like you hit people up on Twitter like crazy, like Rainn Wilson's wife, was it? That's how you got.
That was all through Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, I asked you this when you did like a live YouTube. I can't remember who was with. I'm going to be on this show tomorrow night, actually.
Oh, yeah, with Alex Petikoff, Sasquatch Out of the Shadows. That's a really fun time, dude. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's a whole different animal, too, because it's live.
God.
So watch out but he's really good because he's the one that is actually, he doesn't have a person that's looking at the questions. It's just him running the whole thing. So he's picking out the questions as it goes along. And I went through and watched my episode after it happened and looked through all the comments, and there were a lot of like comments in there he did not pick up that could have been potential grenades. But yeah, no, it's a fun time. You'll like it, dude. It'll be good.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But I think the question I asked you there, I'm going to ask you again here. What's your mindset in going in to interview somebody, like before and during?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my mindset is, so the main thing I like to do is if it's a person where someone thinks that they know who they are, let's say someone maybe a little bit more famous, I like bringing out their story and their background. For example, I had Melissa Barrickman, who's Cliff's wife from the North American Bigfoot Center and Finding Bigfoot. But we didn't really talk about Bigfoot a lot. We talked more about how Melissa likes to do horror special effects makeup and stuff. And, we also talk about, like some weird stuff, some Bigfoot stuff on the side. But I like getting the actual, like, real life story of these people that we know from, they're a researcher or they're on, this TV show. But, like, who are they really? What are their stories? So that's what I try to, like, I try to think of questions ahead of time that will draw that out. Try to do a little research, but it's kind of my mindset. If it's one of the Instagram, like, one-off, those I fly in by the seat of my pants and just let it happen, whatever happens. And those sometimes are actually the best episodes because it's like, it just goes extremely tangent city, and like the stories that come out of them, like I'm thinking like the Tails and Taillights, that guy who's traveling around the US in an RV with his wife looking for Sasquatch and stuff, but also selling on Etsy. Like, he had some crazy stories. Is that one out yet? That's not out yet. No, sorry. I record a few weeks out, so you'll like it though. It gets pretty wild. It's on the Patreon, but I need to have a schedule like where it says like what's out and what's not, because I get confused. But it's a good episode coming up. I think it's in next week, not tomorrow. But
okay, yeah. I mean, your schedule's like different than mine because generally I record on today's Sunday. I usually record on Sundays when I get guests, and then I edit the audio, and then I edit like the I guess the poster or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And then I publish it by Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
I
I
mean,
was doing Wednesday, and then I heard from a few different places that you get a little bit more people on Monday. So tried it out, and it worked pretty good. So
Monday.
yeah,
I
kind
know
of stuck
Cliff
with it.
and Bubba moved to Monday as well.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
everybody's moving to Monday.
That is. Yeah.
Monday's the worst day of the week, but it's the best day for podcast for some weird reason.
Right.
That's pretty funny to me.
Yep.
But no, it's kind of funny, like you're saying, flying by the seat of your pants. That's what I'm doing right now. I had no questions prepared. I'm like watching TV, like, oh crud, I gotta do a podcast here in an hour.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And my thing is just, you know what? I was last guest I had on a couple of guests ago. I was saying like sometimes the unprepared shows are the best prepared, or not, like the best shows, because you never know what's going to happen. Like nothing's prepared; it's just kind of riffing.
You never know.
But
you never know.
It's fun that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, I could say that there's a dinosaur right here, which is not true, but you might say
you have a dinosaur.
Yeah. See what I mean?
Oh, that's awesome.
That just sounds stupid.
And then it's all on you because you're the one that has to edit it because it's your podcast. Yeah.
But I'm going to leave that in there because it's funny.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, I love when I don't have to edit out episodes. That's the best because editing stuff is just not fun.
No, I don't. I hate when there's like an episode when I have to edit a ton of stuff. Or like, cut words out and add words in. Oh, it's such a pain. And when you're talking about with Anchor, at first it was cool, but it kept messing up and audio kept overlapping or there was a delay. And I kept having to do that a lot in editing. I'm like, oh my God, this is a nightmare.
Did you ever hear what happened? Yami from Cryptid Chat Girl, do you know?
I think so, yeah.
So she uses she uses Anchor. And they messed something up and it sounded like an EVP when I had her on, and I was like, listen to the episode. It sounds like there's an EVP saying your name, and it turned out it was just Anchor screwing everything up and all her audio files got messed up. But I was like, it was almost cool.
I was I don't know if it's just Anchor for everybody messing up or for squatchers and people in Bigfoot, but I'm starting to notice something that usually when people are at Bigfoot and their camera messes up or their FLIR dies.
True.
People talking about Bigfoot on Anchor, it's always messing up. There is something going on. I don't know what it is, but it's something out of this world.
That's true.
But
hey, are you? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Are you guys on? Are you still on Spotify exclusive?
Yeah, right now we are. We're just kind of doing Spotify and YouTube.
Okay.
Still trying. I've been telling people like I'm trying to figure out everything, but like I said, I think on your podcast is like podcasting is a different game than putting like music on different like streaming services like iTunes and Spotify and Amazon. But with podcast, you're working with such a big audio file. It's not like music. It's not as easy as distributing music. I wish it was. That's not the case, which sucks. But oh well.
It can be a lot of work, but it's worth it to get. Yeah, I can't wait until eventually, hopefully someday you get on iTunes, and I think that your listenership is going to go nuts.
God,
that's just what I think, because people are going to be searching for the Rob Lowe or Matthew Lowe episode.
I think that one.
That's a good episode.
I think that one was probably the biggest episode. That was definitely our biggest guest that we had.
Yep.
Besides Bobo and Cliff.
True. Yeah.
Those three guys. If I could get Rob Lowe on there, that'd be sweet.
Dude, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
I just gotta grow some balls and be like, can your dad just come on the show?
You should say it's like we could do like a Low Files reunion.
Oh, dude,
on my show. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be the way that it happens, but I'll let you run with it.
Hey, you're going to co-host that with me. That was your idea.
Oh my goodness. Hey, here's some Des Moines news for you. Did you hear what closed in Des Moines? Just the other day.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, the Vaudeville News. It's so sad, dude.
For people who are listening, Jeremiah and I are from the greater Des Moines area in the Midwest. And there's there's some independent music venues there. You got like Gaslamp. What's another one? There's Woolies.
Yep.
And then Vaudeville. But Vaudeville closed down because of the coronavirus. They haven't been having shows.
It's terrible.
And it's such a tiny venue, and they just didn't have enough to support it, and they had to close the doors. Oh man.
Yeah, it's really not cool, dude. But
this coronavirus is not cool, but what are you gonna do?
You just gotta keep going, man. You gotta keep going, Tate. Are you doing good down in Florida? Things good down there?
It's hot down here, man. It's like I can't even go outside for like a minute and not sweat. It's that bad. Think of Iowa during the summer, but 10 times worse.
My goodness.
Yeah. Well, like as far as the humidity goes, I think the heat, I think it's hotter in Iowa, but more humid here.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, on the coast.
Yeah. California's not like that. California is hot and dry. Here it's hot and wet. But I'd rather have hot and dry. That's just me. Maybe that's why the skunk apes smell so bad, because they're always sweating.
They're so skunky, dude.
They're so skunky. Yeah, that's nasty. It's gross.
Yeah.
But leading on to Bigfoot, have you ever had any personal experiences? Or
have I? Absolutely not. And it is like, well, we're saying Bigfoot specifically, right?
You could say Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever floats your boat.
No. Do I want to someday? Yes, I totally do. I haven't gotten the chance to go out and really, well, yeah, could I go out to like Sailville Lake and go squatching? There's another Des Moines reference for you. But like eventually in the future, yeah, I totally want to do something, crazy and, go out like you've been able to do your stuff. The closest I've gotten to it would be, I used to do a lot of hiking in the New England area. And a few times when, being in the woods and you're hiking and you can feel something is watching you, but that could also be a mountain lion as well. Either way, not a good time. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely places I even want to go to in Iowa, like Backbone State Park in Northeast, where there's been a lot of sightings and crazy stuff up there. But I will tell you, dude, like I am so. Did we talk about this? I talked about this with someone, but I'm so busy right now with work and like we're trying to pay off debt so we can go do crazy weird stuff. So it's coming eventually someday. Yes, Tate, I will be able to say like I had crazy experiences. There are plans in the future. One day I want to go to the Mothman Festival. That would be cool. I don't know. Have you ever gotten to go to that before?
Is that in Maine? Or where's that?
It's in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Okay. I guess I'm not too far from there. Probably 13, 12 hours, maybe more.
Yeah, not too bad.
I'm just going to have to make the drive one time and just do it. I would love to go to it. It's on my bucket list. And speaking of just bucket list, what's on like your bucket list of places you want to actually go to when you get the chance?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So I would say number one, I would say definitely the North American Bigfoot Center is on the list. Cliff's Museum, Cliff and Melissa and Connor. And then I really want to go to the Willow Creek area.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, just like so many different things. I mean, even if you're not going to the actual place where the filming occurred, like just in that town, there's so many cool things to see. So there's that. I want to go to eventually the plan is to start going to Bigfoot themed conferences or like cryptid conferences. So like I almost went to there was a Minnesota Bigfoot conference this year, which was like, did you go?
I wanted to.
Oh, okay. But dude, man, I missed out on a lot of stuff not going, and it was because of coronavirus I didn't go. But like Cliff was there, Bob Gimlin was there, and I think there were a lot of people there. But gotta keep safe.
Yeah.
But so that's on the list. Like your Ohio Bigfoot Conference, Crypticon. Check out. Go out to West Virginia. There's like the Mothman Museum. There's a Flatwoods monster stuff out there. Yeah, that's kind of like the top of the bucket list right now, I think. Eventually I want to talk to people like like Cliff and Bobo. Like you've had some extremely good interviews on your podcast. But yeah, working up to that. So that's kind of like part of the bucket list too, because my thing is I want to more get people's stories, but maybe have some experiences too. But that's not like the number one goal of this whole podcast thing for me. It's more to like meet the people and get their stories and get the stories out there, It's
kind of like an added bonus on what you want to do.
But if I get to have some really cool Bigfoot experiences along the way, then hey, that's amazing too.
Dude, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I was thinking like how cool it'd be to do a Bigfoot road trip podcast episode.
Oh, dude, wouldn't that be crazy?
I mean, you could like break it down into like 2 parts maybe or something. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be so cool to do. You could like, I'm going to be going to this state. I'm going to be interviewing this person. You're interviewing for like 10 minutes and like, or whatever. I don't know. It's just, the idea is there. It's something like you could work out. That'd be pretty cool to do.
Well, that's even, that's kind of what I'm referring to when I say like go to the Bigfoot conferences, because like the idea is you have all these people in one place so you can get like short interviews, or make connections with them for interviews there. And it's in the works that eventually I'll have kind of like a setup where it's portable, so that it's like about this big. You can record directly to an SD card. You can have a microphone with you, so then I don't have to have the computer along with me, and can do interviews on the fly, like just set it up like at the festival or whatever. So
it's like go somewhere a little more quiet and
yeah, totally.
A little quick setup, and then there you go.
Yep.
You're off and running.
Oh, yeah.
That's genius. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's the worst experience you've had doing podcasting?
Well, I'm not going to tell you what that is, Tate, because well, no, just kidding. Let's see, what's the worst? The worst thing is the Anchor app was pretty terrible.
Okay,
because, so, and a lot of it was just not knowing the importance of things like turning off your furnace. If you record downstairs, turn off your furnace or you're going to mess up your audio. Or like if you record directly into your phone and you're using the microphone on a phone, your episode's not going to be terrible. It's going to be not good quality. So like there is an episode, my early episodes, just they're not good quality. So that would probably be like the worst experience. I'd like to say I've never had like really any bad experiences with guests, which is awesome. I hopefully that never happens, but like Yeah, that has never happened, which is great because like that to me is number one, is like connecting with the guest and getting their story and making them feel comfortable. You know, that to me is like the number one thing that you want to do.
Yeah. You don't want to say like the wrong thing and they like leave or something.
Oh yeah, like there's a clip out where it's like this guy is interviewing Keanu Reeves for Bill and Ted, and he calls him the wrong character, and Keanu Reeves just rips him, and he's like, dude, you lost all credit. I'm the other character. And it was like, oh, that's like the worst thing that can happen as an interviewer. You don't know your stuff. The basic thing about the person that you're interviewing.
That's so true.
Yeah. So
like
I haven't had any bad stuff.
That's good. So far, I haven't, other than Anchor. So anybody listening who wants to do podcasts, don't use Anchor. I'm not sponsored.
Don't. And it's so it like sucks you in because it's like they say it's so easy and you just have to get an app, but like don't do it. Don't do it.
Like we use Zoom, and I think Zoom works way better.
Good. Yeah, Zoom's good.
Zoom is not bad. And like a lot of people are using it for businesses and stuff like that because they can't all meet. Yep. So it's a good platform. So never had any screw ups with that so far. Thank God. Okay. Do you ever worry about this? Because we're like, I don't know how you record yours, but I'm recording to like an iCloud or whatever. I'm always afraid like my phone's gonna like glitch and the app's gonna like shut off or something. That's one of my biggest fears when I'm podcasting. Do you have any fears when you're doing like an interview or like that?
I did have a interview where, so when you record in Zoom, it has to finalize the file at the very end, you know? And I had one like get corrupted and I had to like recover it from the file it makes. That was a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, that's like tech is like, it's usually tech related stuff. I got a new computer like a few months ago and it had Hey Siri on it. And like it kept picking up Hey Siri when I was talking. Sorry if I'm probably gonna be triggering a lot of different stuff for your podcast listeners, my bad. But
Hey Siri.
Yeah, it like shut down the recording and it like got all messed up and it was not a good situation. So I would recommend if you have a Mac, you turn off the Hey function so that it doesn't screw up your recording if you're doing Zoom or whatever for podcasts. So.
Yeah, I use my phone, and I was trying to find my headphones, but I couldn't find them, so I happened to use the microphone. But I just turned my phone on airplane. Or no, not airplane. Do not disturb mode.
Yep.
And I make sure my Siri is off. I don't ever use Siri anyway, but I'd rather look for it manually than ask someone to do it for me. I'm that kind of guy. But whatever, man. Super duper easy.
I gotta ask you, what's the story behind the monkey mask on your back wall? That's fantastic.
That's
awesome.
I was gonna try and do like an alter ego Instagram thing.
Yes.
But like hide my identity and like follow nobody that I know and just start
I love it.
Scratch and see how far I can get.
That is cool.
Now, well, thanks to you, I told everybody my secret.
Yeah, well, I mean, my hand is getting red.
Great. No, I have like a lot of stuff on that wall right here. It's my treasure trove of Bigfoot collection memorabilia.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Gotta have that, man. Gotta have that. As far as Bigfoot evidence go, what's your favorite Bigfoot evidence out there?
So that's a tricky one because, I'm probably gonna maybe do like two answers. So like, I would say probably the best evidence is of course, the Patterson Gimlin film.
Yeah.
Like that's really hard once you see that to be like, But my favorite, I really like the Olympic Project and how they are looking into the all the nests up there, and I want there to be like footage released of that because there's lots of like audio talking about it.
Dude,
but
no,
I don't.
totally.
Is there video that exists of them yet? Have you seen? I haven't seen any.
Of
I want there to
finds
be.
that they have, like of the nest
Yeah.
that they found. I'm sure they
Maybe.
have video of it. They just don't
Yeah.
have it out. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
You've had Shane Corson on your podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that talking to him? He's a cool guy.
That was cool. Shane was a fun guy to chat with. He's a guy where it's like it feels like you're talking to him, and that you need to talk to him for like more time than you have because he's been involved with so many different things. He's been involved with, the Olympic project by itself is huge, but then you also have I believe he was involved with the Devil's Creek. If you remember that, how there was going to be that movie, but there was that it was in Washington State, I believe, and it was like a very, very intense area, and they were doing a documentary on it. And I don't even think I got to talk to him on my podcast about how he was involved with the Laura Krantz Wild Thing series. Did you remember that? Did you ever listen to that? That's a really good.
I think that's what it
podcast.
is. Yeah.
But Shane is, I believe, involved with that too. So he's, and the way I describe Shane, and I have this on my episode with him, but in the Avengers movie, he's very much like Agent Coulson because he's not like, this is no dig on Shane, but he's no like, oh, look, it's Iron Man. But once you start to see Shane, you see Shane everywhere, like how you see Agent Coulson in all the movies, and he connects everything together. So
it's so true.
He's a cool dude. He's a very cool dude. Shane is awesome.
How
I
did you get in contact with him?
I think I just hit him up actually.
You're like, hey, want to be interviewed?
Yeah, there's so you probably know setting up podcast is tough because it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
So there's a thing where like I will usually send out a few requests a night to see if I can get any bites. And sometimes you'll be very surprised at what you get. I'm sure you've seen the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That people will be like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. And you're like, oh my goodness. Or like people like Ryan Sprague from Somewhere in the Skies. I had him on and he's like, oh yeah, dude, I listened to your podcast. I was like, wait, what? The weird thing I do in my basement? And then you're like, oh yeah, the weird thing that you do in your basement that's had almost 20,000 downloads since April. Like, and it's like, you forget that a lot of people are listening to your stuff, right? Do you ever experience that, Tate, where you forget how many people listen to your stuff and it's not just you talking?
I think I just take it for granted. Yeah. I just, you're like,
yep.
I don't even, in my mind, I think nobody's listening to this. And then people are like, dude, I like your podcast. I'm like, how, okay. And I'm like, I didn't know you liked it or not. I was just doing it because it's fun. I'm bored.
So, yeah, exactly. So I think the where it's going to be weird for me is when I get to the point someday where I'm at a place and someone comes up to me and is like, hey, you're Jeremiah from the Bigfoot Society Podcast, or you're Tate from, Bluff Creek Project Podcast. And like, I think that will be the time where it's like your mind is blown. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when people are coming up to you, like in every state you're in almost. I want at least one person in all 50 states to come up to me.
That would be cool. Just
one person. That's not that's not too much to ask.
No, I don't think so.
50 people. I mean, that's reasonable.
Oh, speaking of states, I was going to ask you, have you ever heard of this story in in Alaska where it was in the 30s or 40s and like this fishing village was attacked by a Sasquatch or something and like totally ripped them apart and made everyone leave? Have you ever heard about this?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I heard about that. I think Shannon was talking about it on one of her things the other day, but it was like, can you imagine that? Like, my goodness, I got to get that story. That story would be wild. That would be the stuff of like movies.
Dude.
Like, oof.
Oh man, turning like stories like that into movies, I think a great movie, if they could do it, Hollywood should do a great movie of the Ape Canyon incident.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I think I've heard. Well,
was talking about.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I shouldn't say this, but okay. So I let you say it. So, but you're thinking an actual blockbuster movie, not just a documentary. Like that would be cool, dude.
Dude, like if I can have my wish come true, my wish would be Steven Spielberg to direct it.
Oh my goodness. What?
Direct an Ape Canyon incident movie. That would be amazing.
Oh man. Dude. Who would you want in that movie?
Oh God.
Yeah.
I want Michael Fassbender in it.
Oh yeah, dude. Totally.
I think he'd be really good in it. I'm just gonna pull out all the stops here.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman. I would love to have in it. Big. I'm thinking of like all the mountain-looking men you could have in a movie.
Yep.
That pull it off. Hugh Jackman, Michael Fassbender. Oh God. Okay, I know he's like short, but one of my favorite, Christoph Waltz.
Yes, dude.
I think he would be amazing.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I can think about right now, but that's a good start for a cast. Because there's like 5 people in that cabin.
It'd be intense, yeah.
Those people with that director, oh my God. Oh, Liam Neeson.
Man, Liam Neeson. Ooh. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
It's a weird cast, but somehow it would work.
One of my favorite things about the Cryptozoology Museum in Portland, Maine. Have you gotten there yet? Someday you got to go there.
It's on my bucket list.
They have an exhibit about Ape Canyon that has stuff from the site, and it's really cool. Yeah, dude. They have like nails and stuff that were recovered. It's awesome, dude. Lauren
Coleman has like nails and stuff
from
the cabin or something?
I will say from what I remember, because this is a few years ago, there was an exhibit where it was Ape Canyon and there were materials that were gathered from around the area where they think the cabin was, including nails and stuff. It was really cool.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of my favorite, I'm going to ask you this, but I'll just go, like, my favorite stories is definitely the Jerry Crew tracks of that whole thing, like, where the Sasquatch is, like, destroying the whole road construction campsite.
Oh,
like
yeah.
All the logging wire into the creek. The Patterson Gimlin film is another one I really love. And Ape Canyon is a really cool one.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the 3 of my favorite Bigfoot stories by far. What's your top 3 stories if you had to choose?
So you're gonna have to. Hopefully, you can help me out with specifics. As my memory is a little shoddy. But there's the one story where it's the guy who gets kidnapped and carried by a Sasquatch in the
Albert
sleeping
Otzman.
bag. Yes, that is such a cool account. I love that account, dude. And then let's see. Well, one of my favorite is actually one from on my podcast, which I don't know if I can do that, but I will. It's the Rick Rellis from I Know Squatch, how he talks he's in Backbone State Park in Iowa, and he is they see orbs floating in front of him, and then they look behind him and there's a Squatch that's supposedly controlling the orbs, and then it chases him out of the park. It's a great story though. I love it. I also just love the story of Bob Gimlin and the filming of Patty, because the more you look into that, the more information, and can you imagine if there's a movie made about that scenario?
That's funny you talk about that.
Uh-oh. Why?
Okay, so I had this guy Jonathan Easley on my podcast a couple times.
Okay.
But we were up at Bluff Creek this past July, and then I always thought how cool it'd be to make a film, like an actual movie of the whole, Bluff Creek encounter.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of thinking of doing a movie of the whole Bluff Creek area, kind of things that happen, starting with like Jerry Crew, and then going with the Texas oilman Tom Slick, leading into Roger and Bob's encounter. So
that would be wild.
We're like hashing out things, and it's back and forth. It's in its infancy stage right now, but we're gonna see where it goes, man.
That's a big undertaking. Like that could become extremely big, dude. Like more power to you. That's awesome.
I know. There's that guy. Oh God, Renee DeHinden. We were both thinking we could have Rainn Wilson play Renee DeHinden, the Swiss guy.
Could you totally? Oh, dude. But the thing is, you could get Rainn Wilson to be in this movie.
Totally.
You totally could. Dude.
I feel like it would be easy to do, and maybe even Rob Lowe could help produce it or something. I have no idea.
Oh man, that would be really cool, Tate. Yeah, you've got some pretty solid connections that can make that work. That would be cool.
You just gotta throw your balls up in the air and see where they land, I guess, or feathers, whatever.
Either way,
we're gonna land somewhere.
Is that your T-shirt?
Dude, it's Sasquatch Park.
Dude, I love it. Sasquatch Park. Oh, sorry, no video, but for listeners right now, Tate is wearing a shirt that says Sasquatch Park on it. That looks like the Jurassic Park logo, but it's Sasquatch. It's really cool.
Yeah, instead of the T-Rex, there's a Sasquatch walking.
Where'd you pick that up from?
Amazon.
Oh,
a lot of my shirts I just get off on Amazon, man.
Yeah, nice.
I'll just look up. Well, there's this one T-shirt. It's like a baseball tee. It has Bobo on it, and it has a Bigfoot, and it says Bobo meets Squatch, and they're shaking hands. That's probably one of the best shirts I have. Another one is Abraham Lincoln fighting a Sasquatch. That's super cool.
No, that's a good one. Yeah. Hey, can I plug something of someone else's? Because I think it's important for the community. Yes. Did you see how North American Bigfoot Center has a Patreon now?
Yeah, I went and subscribed to it and everything.
I did too, because I think it's important that everyone does that, because come on, guys, it's like $6 a month, but the stuff in there is amazing. Have you watched all the videos yet?
I think I watched everything but the fire update one. Okay. I think there's only 3 of them, right?
Yeah, so only 3, but it's extremely good quality. I don't want to give anything away, but I'd say if you liked Finding Bigfoot and you wish there was a much better quality production version of it,
this is it.
This is it. And they're going to put stuff in there. It's going to blow your mind.
No doubt.
So you got to do it. Yeah.
And that reminds me, I need to go to your Patreon and subscribe to that one too. Got to support everybody.
That's right.
And I'm thinking of doing a Patreon. I just sent out a mass question to ask people. Some are saying no, or some are saying yes. But I had a really good. So how's that work? You can it's almost like rewards you do, people pay.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I
so
thought
you
it was
just
a pretty cool reward.
like
People
what?
could do it. I don't know. I want to make it more money just because, not to say I don't trust people, but I don't want like a bunch of crazy people doing it. But like to help co-host an episode or something for so much money.
Yeah, so
I can see that being a bad idea, but it could be cool.
So I've seen that on ones before, and that one always makes me a little nervous because I'm like, I don't want someone like buying their way, someone who'd be like, oh, I can just throw money at this and like I can buy my way in, you know. But in the one that we have, we do, let's see, what do we do? We have usually the guest sticks around for like 10, 15 minutes. They have extra stories. I started I started doing some exclusive podcasts just for the Patreon. So it's like I'm doing a retrospect where I listen to an episode of Sasquatch every week and then like analyze it, which is kind of like super nerdy but fun. And then I'm doing a thing where it's going to be called Case Files. So the supporters get to vote on what cryptid they want me to focus on for the month. And then,
okay.
So for like October, it's Mogollon Monster and Mokele and Bembe. So it's going to be like, I think I'm going to do I'm going to do 2 episodes per cryptid per month. And like, I'm actually, so for like, for Mogollon, I have at least one person I'm going to interview. So it's not just going to be me talking about, you know, the cryptid. It's going to be like exclusive interviews from people. Like, I think I'm talking to Alex Petikoff, and he's going to be like talking about Mogollon because that's one of the episodes they have for the Chasing Legends documentary that's coming out. So, yeah, it's kind of just, it's providing extra content, benefits, value for the people that want to support you anyways. And I think if you're looking into doing a Patterson Gimlin movie, there's probably a lot of cool stuff you could do with that. But I mean, that is totally up to you. But you could.
It's scary though. Like, I kind of agree with you. It's like, it seems like a cool idea, but at the same time, like you said, people could just buy their way, you know.
But the thing is like you control that, right? And also the other cool thing is like the people that you end up that will support you are the people that you need to be connected with. For example, like one of the guys in my Patreon, Greg, I'm going to shout out because like is an amazing individual, and he's a graphic design guy, and he's the guy who designed the new Bigfoot Society logo. And he's like, I just wanted to do this for you. So I really recommend you do that because you'll be connected to the people that want to support you the most and that want to get really involved, with the Bluff Creek Project Podcast. So definitely, look into it. Yeah,
dude, it'd be so cool. That's my plan. But this podcast thing keeps us busy, doesn't it?
It does, man. Yeah.
It surprisingly wears you out more than people realize too. It's not like, well, like you said, there's scheduling, there's editing, there's publishing,
there's publishing, there's marketing in a way. You're really doing all of the things, but it is really cool when I love it when you get to connect to people that there's no way, you would be able to connect to without this. I mean, just think of the connections that you've been able to have so far, which are really cool. And just, me being able to talk to people like, Seth and Mark and all those guys from Small Town Monsters, it helps you connect to people that you wouldn't be able to unless you took an active role in things. And
exactly.
Created your own destiny, right? So it's cool. I enjoy it. It's fun.
I thought about a cool idea. I was at the beach a couple days ago, and I saw the plane, like an airplane, dragging like those banners. I don't know how funny it would be to like do like an ad thing and have a plane drag my ad over
That's
the
awesome.
beach. That'd be
imagine?
That'd be more like a funny joke, but who knows? It could be.
You need to do that at like a big Bigfoot event. That's what you need to do. Like that Bigfoot on the beach thing that they do.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like, you know what I'm talking about, and it's like super
Beachfoot?
It's Beachfoot, and it's exclusive, right? Like you have to be invited to it and stuff like that. I think that's how it works. I don't know. Maybe I just made that up, but that's what you do. You rent a plane and you have it right over Beachfoot, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's that? Bluff Creek Project Podcast. Maybe I should listen to that right now." That's what you do, dude. Or you could just you could just
on a semi something.
Yeah, you could just do Instagram ads and target people in that area at that time, right?
I gotta think of some different ways. I'm just gonna get one of those giant wraps and go to like a semi or like a Walmart and go like where the semis are and just slap some wraps on their trucks.
Totally.
You're like, this is my truck now.
Dude, who are you gonna have play Bob Gimlin?
Oh, okay. So at this kind of like, it's too early to like
answer that because it's a loaded question on purpose.
Exactly.
If you don't want to, you don't have to. But
no, I kind of like doing that. It's
all right.
Honestly, you know what? And people might give me crap for this or not, but you don't necessarily have to have the actor have the accent. They have to be American or anything.
Okay.
If I had it, like if he was younger, I would love to have Christoph Waltz as Bob Gimlin.
Interesting.
That'd be like cool. I'm trying to think of some other. We're talking about some other people who we could have in it. It's like I don't want actors who are like fanboyish, like Tom Holland, in it or anything like that.
That would be weird, wouldn't it?
God, I can't. I wouldn't take him serious. To be quite honest.
Would he be too young though?
He'd be way too young.
Yeah, I'd be too young. Yeah.
He looks like he is a kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, no, I would never have him in a movie. I mean, not to say he's not bad. God, there's just so many actors that'd be hard to like nail down. It's just I don't know. Who would you have played Bob Gimlin?
Well, do Jake Gyllenhaal.
That was one of the actors I thought
maybe with like some facial hair going on, but I think that might be kind of cool. I don't know.
Jake Gyllenhaal, he could do some pretty good roles. Yeah. I can totally see it. No, we're trying to think like who could play Roger Patterson, because Roger Patterson was kind of like not a psychopath. I mean, maybe.
Well, I'm gonna let you say all the stuff right about now, but yeah, I know that you gotta. Yeah, it's like how do you?
He's very egotistic, like.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not. Psychopath is not the word. I'm trying to think of the word.
I'm trying to think how different things have talked about him before. And one thing that comes up is he was a kind of a con man. Is that true?
He was a really
sketchy-ish, entrepreneur-ish. I don't know. It's hard because I, of course, didn't know the guy, so
exactly.
I can't pass judgment on his character. But
Jack Black could play Bob Gimlin, and
oh man. That would be awesome, dude.
Jack Black is Bob Gimlin. That'd be hilarious. Oh God. Like if it was gonna be like in the future, like they were like them in the future, Tommy Lee Jones would be a good Bob Gimlin.
Ooh. Yeah. That would be interesting.
In a weird way.
Oh, so that would be older Bob Gimlin is what you're saying.
That would be older Bob Gimlin.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Ooh, you know what? Who could play Bob Gimlin? Josh Brolin.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
Oh, God, that would be so good.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
And he doesn't look too old either. He could play. He could play that role pretty good. Mm-hmm. God. Okay, well, now that we're talking about Bob Gimlin, I got to ask you. This is the Bluff Creek Project Podcast, and we're centered. The whole podcast and the project itself is centered around the Patterson Gimlin film.
Okay.
And the film site. In your opinion, do you think it's possible it could be a man in a suit or the real deal?
Sorry, go ahead. That's the question, right?
Yeah, that's the question.
So personally, I do not think that it is just a man in a suit. And it is because so the thing that gets me the most is you get the video I'm talking about where it's like the HD versions where it gets like very cleaned up and you can see the muscles rippling at the movement in ways that would not be moving on a suit.
No.
There's no way, dude. That's like the number one thing. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I know that I don't want to get super into it, but I mean, you know where I'm going. But the thing that I always go back to is like, you watch it when it's been the muscles on the legs, dude. You're not going to get that. And especially that time period when you're looking at like Planet of the Apes type, like that was the pinnacle, right? Is Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes and Space Odyssey, 2001.
Oh,
Space
yeah.
Odyssey.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind, dude. Yeah.
So on your bucket list, when you ever go to Willow Creek, you should definitely make a trip to the film site because it's only like another hour north.
Oh, really? Is it hard
Creek.
Is it hard to get in there? Like, it's a little bit of a trek, right? No.
So, you can drive pretty much. Okay, so if you're leaving Willow Creek north, you're taking Highway 96, I believe, northbound. Then there's a little town called Orleans.
Okay.
There's a road called IC Road, or the Go Road. You take that up like to mile marker 17, I think. You turn left onto 12 and 13. No, I can't remember the road, but you take a left at that marker. I think it's mile marker 17. There's maps, and we have directions on our website. Yeah. But you can drive all the way almost to the film site.
Oh, wow.
But there is like some road. There was like some rock slides that covered up the road, so it was unsafe because you used to be able to drive all the way down to the creek and like hike just a little bit. But it's maybe like a mile and a half hike, just one way, and it's not bad. Hiking downhill is the easy part.
Right, it's hiking back up. Yeah, exactly.
It's not. I would say for anybody going down there, be careful because you can twist an ankle and get hurt. Take water.
Exactly.
And like Kip has said, our co-host before, he was saying it's not wild, but it is kind of wild out there, and it's not for the faint of heart, really. So, just go prepared is the best advice anybody who wants to go see the film site.
I think that's great advice for if you're going to do any of this stuff, because when you go out squatching, you're pretty much going out hiking. Like, make sure like you're being smart. You have maybe first aid stuff with you. Just be smart, And,
That is the key, man.
That's the key. Yeah.
It's like when you drive in a car, you wear a seatbelt.
Mm-hmm. Totally, dude.
You got to be safe about it.
Yeah, you got to be smart about it. Please.
I'm saying dumb things, man, but whatever. So I think we're coming up on an hour.
Yeah.
Is there any like advice you would give anybody? I know we kind of talked about being smart and going prepared, but any advice in podcasting or Bigfooting or just in general life? Anything you would want people to know?
So I think some good advice would be that I've actually gotten from people in the podcast so far would be sometimes I might be a little bit, afraid to go for something, but don't look down on yourself. Don't think you can't do it. I will give you, I don't know if you know who Gary Vee is, but so Gary Vee does a thing where he gives you the go ahead to do whatever it is that you want to do, as long as it's like illegal, right? But like, so if you've been wanting to do a podcast or you want to go out squatching with your buddies or fill in the blanks and you think people are going to make fun of you and you don't want to do it, I'm giving you the okay, go do it. You can do it. Just be prepared. There was a lot of guests where I didn't think that I could approach them because they were too high up on the magical, mystical mountain. And one of my buddies was like, dude, you just need to go for it. And if you go for it, like Tate has probably brought up in other episodes, you'll be surprised at the results that you can get. Also, if you are gonna do a podcast, invest in some equipment, like a basic microphone. You can look up some articles that Pat Flynn has about how to start a podcast, but it's important to have some good equipment so that you make quality, good sounding stuff and you're not just talking into your phone or a terrible microphone. That's really, really important.
Like me.
Yeah. No, you could. I would say that the other advice specifically about Sasquatch and Bigfoot stuff is there's a lot of people right now, it's always fun to watch the videos, to watch the documentaries, to watch the movies, to watch the YouTubes, but we need to take the time to also read the old, I will say old in air quotes because they're really not old. Read the books that are important in this field. Like I'm working through some Lauren Coleman books right now. Yeah, don't be afraid to read books. I guess you can also get the audiobook version too if you really don't want to read, but don't just watch the YouTubes, do the research too and get out in the field as well.
See,
so,
that
would be some advice.
That's awesome advice.
Yeah, thank you.
My thing is too, like when I'm on here, be yourself too. Don't try to be somebody to please people.
That's huge.
Then that's a fake. Then you're coming off like fake and everything. And then,
yep.
Especially in the Bigfoot world, that's your reputation.
Yeah.
Once that's kind of ruined, you kind of have like that reputation of he's a shady person.
That's really good advice, Tate. Like your listeners need to take that to heart. Huge. That is really good. Yeah. And like, be yourself, be genuine.
And like I've said it on the podcast here numerous times, I think on yours as well. And anybody who goes out in the field with me, I am a little skittish of the dark. I'm not going to lie about it. Like, It's scary.
It's all right.
But you know what? I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I can't fight off animals with my bare hands. I'm not Samsonite from the Bible, people.
Neither should you try to fight off animals with your bare hands. So it's good that you're not trying to do that.
I mean, I might fight a squirrel off with my bare hands, but it's trying to get my nuts, man. Leave me alone.
Oh man, So many hidden jokes in this podcast. This is one where you'll need to go back and listen to it again and make hash marks with all the incredible jokes. I love it.
It'd be such a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremiah, I thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, you got it.
It's what, over your time? 10 now? It's 11 here in Florida.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's getting late over in Florida. Yep.
I'm usually up till like 4 in the morning most of the time.
Okay.
It doesn't. I have insomnia. It just happens, man.
Oh, okay. Got you, dude. Yep.
But anyway, Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. And I hope you had fun doing this.
Yeah, no, totally. I love chatting with other people's in the field, and Tate is doing an awesome job on this podcast. Guys, if you're listening to this on Spotify and you haven't subscribed, for Pete's sake, you need to subscribe. It's huge.
You're being too kind. What Jeremiah meant to say is, if you're listening to this podcast, go subscribe to Bigfoot Society Podcast on every platform you can.
That would be pretty huge as well. Do you mind if I mention something else as well, Tate?
Go for it, dude. This is all you.
Cool.
This is all for you.
All right, cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff I've been putting up on, if you go to BigfootSocietyPodcast.com, I've been putting up a lot of articles up there, so you want to check that out. I've got a review of the Mothman Legacy movie that's coming out soon. And then like some articles about like the top books, cryptozoology books that different people in the field use, which is very interesting. Podcast, just search for Bigfoot Society on all your podcast places, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. Check us out. We have a lot of really unique interviews with people in the field. And Instagram, Bigfoot Society, and all the social medias on the website. So BigfootSocietyPodcast.com. Thanks, Tate.
Go for it. Go look for it, guys. Go subscribe to it. Do what you can. Support my buddy from Iowa. But until next week, I have been Tate Hieronymus, and this is Jeremiah from the Bigfoot Podcast Society. Have a good night.
You got it. See you guys.